Back with more Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is episode 1 of season 2, or book 2, I should probably say. I'm excited to get into a brand new season of the show. I literally just finished season 1 a few days ago, but still, it's cool to approach a brand new season and see, you know, what element they could be focusing on next, and where all these characters are going to go, where the overall story's heading. I adored the first season so much. They're doing some really cool stuff with all the characters, the dynamics, even the the plot line and stuff. It's all really interesting. They've gone quite dark at times, and I appreciate that. And they're exploring some really adult themes a lot of the time. A lot of the characters are just so likable, and you're going to root for them. And even the ones that you're not supposed to like are still really well done and realised. There's a lot of layers to them, and the fact that I loved everything they were doing so much with it, and all I've been getting since I started the show is that the show gets better and better, and that, season 1 is still really great, but season 2 and 3 are even better. How? I'm really excited to see if that's going to be the case for me as well, and just check out what they have in store for this next season. It almost feels like a blink of an eye that we got through season 1, so just continue to savour the journey while we're still on it, because before we know it, I'm going to be halfway through the entire show when we get to the midpoint of this season, and that's kind of crazy. But yes, brand new set of episodes. I'm really excited to see how they kick off this season. We have Zuko and Iroh off, now traitors to the Fire Nation, I suppose, and Zuko's sister is being sent after them, so I'm excited to see where that's going to go. And then the journey continues on, I guess, for Aang, Katara and Sokka, and that little group. So yeah, without further ado, I suppose, let's get into season 2. Oh. Using all the elements, right?
It was scary. I was scary.
Looks like they've made their eyes a bit smaller. I don't know if that's to show they're older, they just decided to change it.
These scrolls will help you master waterbending, but remember...
Have a good trip.
Fly straight to the Earth Kingdom base to begin your earthbending training with King Boomy.
Ah, that makes sense. Still living his best life.
I want my father not to think I'm worthless.
I'm sure he doesn't. Why would he banish you if he didn't care? That came out wrong, didn't it?
Not great.
Maybe you should worry less about the Tides, who've already made up their mind about killing you, and worry more about me, who's still mulling it over.
Oh, wow.
You're ready to face the Fire Lord now.
What? No, I'm not! Aang still needs to master all 4 elements.
Why? So it's decided then. I'll help you figure out how to get into the Avatar state, and then you'll face your destiny.
No, nothing's decided. We already have a plan.
That's risky.
Aang's pursuing his destiny his way.
People are dying, Aang. You could end it now. Think about it.
It could become even worse if he's not ready. She can do lightning? Oh, I'm kind of on her side. Damn! Shocking.
Tenfold energy, huh? Is it working? Is it working? I can't tell. Somebody tell me if I'm in the Avatar state, because I don't have a good view of myself. Am I talking too loud?
I like that his voice is high pitched.
Maybe I can shock you into the Avatar state.
I love surprises.
Water, earth, fire, air. 4 elements together as one.
This is just mud.
So, do you feel anything?
Hello, brother.
Oh.
Uncle.
What are you doing here?
Father regrets your banishment. He wants you home. Did you hear me? You should be happy. Excited. Great.
Oh no, because that's bullshit.
I just gave you great news. I'll come to call on you tomorrow. Good evening.
Very formal for brother and sister, so I'm sure they're really close.
Watching you be in that much rage and pain is really scary.
That's true.
I'm really glad you told me that.
How much is it worth it if traumatizing him is the only way to get him in the state?
No.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah, Iroh knows what's up.
Things are not always what they seem.
I think you're exactly what you seem. A lazy, mistrustful, shallow old man who's always been jealous of his brother.
Now come on. You know that's not true, he's a badass. Oh, Zuko just doesn't want to admit, you know, it's too good to be true, she's just lashing out.
I don't think we should be trying to bring on the Avatar state.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think the General will be mad?
What can he say? You're the Avatar. Who knows better than you? We're finally going home.
Yeah, he's like, this is BS.
I can only reach the Avatar state when I'm in genuine danger.
I see.
Oh, no.
I was afraid you'd say that.
You're a bit of a dick, yeah. I mean, I get, you know, he wants to end the war early and everything, but...
The Avatar!
What if you kill him now? What are you gonna do then? Fools. Pure intentions, but very poor execution from these folks.
Home.
You heard the princess. Raise the anchors. We're taking the prisoners home. Your Highness.
Oh dear. Yeah. Huh. Links with Aang and Zuko again.
Maybe you can avoid me, but she can't.
I mean, now you're just being a bit evil, aren't you? He could, like, go into the Avatar state and then just kill you all.
You have to let her go!
You could save her if you were in the Avatar state.
We don't know that.
Trying!
It worked. It worked.
Oh, I hope you get torn in half, buddy. Oh, I love it when they sync those two together.
And he considers you a miserable failure for not finding the Avatar. Why would he want you back home, except to lock you up where you can no longer embarrass him?
Rude! You're gonna fail to capture him, so... So she's very, like, more defense and he's more attack. She just lets him kind of lose control. That's so cool! That's cooler! Into the sea, bitch.
It was just a trick to trigger the Avatar state, and it worked.
Congratulations. Oops.
If you are killed in the Avatar state, the reincarnation cycle will be broken.
Oh.
Avatar will cease to exist.
Oh, damn. I mean, it was quite OP, I suppose.
That was almost perfect. We just have to find out a way to control you when you're like that.
You're out of your mind.
I guess we'll figure it out on the way to the Fire Nation.
Yep.
You got a problem with that?
No, yeah. Haircut? Oh. So they can't be recognised. Okay, interesting. Okay, another fantastic episode and a great start to the season, setting up some long-running things for some different characters, giving us hints of what to come. You know, the core trio are heading to see King Boomy again, and he can learn like earthbending from him, which makes a lot of sense. So I like that again. Avatar in season 1 was also very good at, you know, bringing back and revisiting some lesser characters that may have only appeared like in a few episodes or very briefly, and keeping them in the show. So I imagine that's going to be the case maybe with Boomy and stuff. So that's really cool. And I like that idea, and it makes a lot of sense, while he also learns waterbending from Katara at the same time. So you can see them shifting into focusing this season on Earth as the element, which makes a lot of sense. If you're going to have one element for last, it's going to be fire, isn't it? So I kind of assumed season 2 would be like Earth. So that's cool. And we've got a bit more lore around like the Avatar and the Avatar state, which I'm always here for. It's cool to get a bit of exposition about that, and if the Avatar could be killed in that state, that's it for the Avatar. They don't kind of continue, like the rebirth cycle kind of stops, which is interesting. And I like that there is kind of like a weakness to that. You can stop it altogether from ever happening again. I think that's actually, it adds a bit more of a threat and a danger to it, I suppose, because you could go around just killing all the avatars, but there's always going to be one coming along and just awaken, and then you start all over again, like, well, we have no idea who it could even be. Oh dear, and that could take you ages. So the fact that you could just kill one avatar while they're in the avatar state and that's it, adds a bit of a threat level, which I quite like. So that was cool to get a bit of lore with that, and just to see where the group all are now. I don't know if like a significant amount of time has passed, or if they just changed the animation a bit for season 2. But I think Aang did look a little bit older. I don't know if that's like a purposeful choice. I do feel like they've made the eyes of the characters just quite small compared to like season 1, which maybe is just a choice to make them look a bit older, show that they're growing, or it's just like, we didn't really like this aspect of season 1, we're going to change it a bit for season 2. Because like the character designs themselves aren't like vastly different, but I did feel like Aang looked visibly older, and I think he was like a bit taller and stuff. So that's cool, just like the attention to detail with like the visuals, which also the show is phenomenal with. And even in this one with like almost like the pink blossom trees and stuff blowing in the background, and some of the colouring of like redder skies just looks so good. Constantly impressed with that, really. But I liked that they focused on the Avatar state and what that really means, what it can do, the fact that it's actually quite a vulnerable place for an Avatar to be in, because Aang very much entered that state a couple of times in season 1, but they've never really focused on it and honed in on that as like a plot point until now. So I liked that they chose like the one ability of the Avatar has that I think as a viewer I myself didn't really quite get and understand fully yet. The fact that that was the focus of the season 2 for me was like, well, you're not supposed to really understand it yet because the characters don't either, and after all these years and all these avatars, like the world still doesn't really understand a lot of it. And Aang only found out if he got killed in that state, that would be it for the Avatar, when he was actually away in the other world with the previous Avatar. So that was really cool to get a lot of exposition and explanations about how that all works. And then we just had Fong, I think was his name. Again, he was very like, oh, I'm gonna get you to be in the Avatar state, whatever it takes. But there's still more to that, and there's more layers to it, because he was doing it so that Aang could just, like, if we can get you into that state whenever we please, you can just go and destroy the Fire Lord now and end the war. So it's a very good intention and everything, because all around him people are dying, his people are dying, his friends are dying, all of that jazz. But he just went about trying to cut some corners in completely the wrong way, and sometimes you just need to go the long way round for the best result, because if you're gonna get Aang in that state, he doesn't know how to control it yet. Maybe he can't control it, and that's just like unleashing an almighty force that you just can't control, and it might just cause more damage than would have been done anyway. So I imagine he'd been through some stuff, this Fong guy, but he just got way too into that and a bit too crazy about it. So I like that kind of flaw in him, and he was so desperate for this war to be done that he didn't really see the consequences of the here and now. He was just focusing on, well, long term, war's going to be done, awesome, but you know, I think you can't cut corners in things like that, even if you want to. Because if you're, you know, you write a book or something, and you just know, right, I've written one draft, that's fine, I'm done. Let's publish that. Or, you know, do a painting or something, and like, oh, you know, I haven't coloured in the entire canvas in the way I wanted to, but it looks good enough, that'll do. There's that kind of unfinishedness to it, unrefinedness to it. Is that a word? It is now. And it's just, it can't be the best it can be. And cutting corners is just going to make something imperfect. And it could have been better, but because he just cut some corners, it isn't going to be. And that could end up with something disappointing or something worse than what you would have intended. And that's very much what his mindset would have done with the whole Aang situation, trying to force him into that state, being unable to control it. And the fact that I think what was interesting and showed that he was a bit too far gone with that, is that the people serving him were like, yeah, we're good with you knocking him out, just go. That just shows that, you know, it was just his mindset, not like the general kind of consensus of all those people, which is good. I like that. It was just showing, you know, it's not, they're all in this weird mindset that is probably bad. We had that. But also after Aang went into the Avatar state and destroyed all that shit, you know, probably hurt a few of the guards, let's be honest. They got blown all over the place and they're going to have to rebuild all those houses and stuff now. He was still like, oh, that was amazing. Now we just need to, you know, allow you to control it. But we got there. You know, it's all a trick. Oh, I'm so clever. That just showed that he was a bit too far gone in that mindset. And he just needs, you know, a cup of tea and for someone to sit down with him and like, bitch, listen. That's not a healthy way of going about things. But, you know, war probably really changed him. He probably did go through some shit and everything. He just wants it to be done, which I get, but yeah, that really twisted his view of how things should be done, which is very interesting. I like that they kind of did that. So there was so much to this Fong guy, even if like the plot surrounding him felt very simple. You could really go into deep dive, I think, of like how did he really, like what has he seen to get him into that place and that position. So that was really interesting. And I like the fact that some of the other people were like, yeah, just go. We'll leave him knocked out on the floor, you know, we'll put him to bed, he'll be fine. So everything with that was cool, and it allowed us to focus on like the Avatar state. The idea of giving Aang like a date to get this all done by, really, last season when they were talking about the meteor or whatever it was, the asteroid that was going to land, and you're like, well, you need to master the elements by then, by, you know, the next summer. We already had like a ticking time bomb with that, so it was already time sensitive and everything. In a way, if he could just master the Avatar state and then get on with it, you know, that would be a really good solution to that problem. But we've seen in so many different episodes and everything that you just need to take the time to do it right, like mastering the elements. You can't just cut corners with that, because something will come bite you on the arse ultimately. And that's just how it still go. So I liked them exploring that with this. That was really fun. And Katara, you know, not wanting to watch Aang have to go through all of that, because she knew it wasn't the way to go about things as well. Aang also knew, but if it could have ultimately worked, I suppose, he's still at heart and in his head and in his body, he's still very young, you know. I think he would have happily not wanted to deal with all the pressure that's on his shoulders. He's like, well, if I can cut a few corners, that won't be so bad. But he did very much realise the error of his ways there, and that just shows, you know, his level of intellect about the whole thing, his level of awareness of, and how much he's grown, and how much, you know, how seriously he takes all this now. There isn't necessarily time to just have fun anymore. So he understands the seriousness of the situation, which I think when you compare to like episode 1 or 2 of season 1, when he's just riding some penguins with Katara and just having a laugh about things and showing off his powers, just enjoying like the attention that he gave him. Just already we can see that growth from like the early episodes of season 1 to now, and how he's really taken on board the serious aspect of what he needs to do. So that was really cool. I liked everything with that. Sokka was just there. He was just kind of just doing some Sokkerisms. But I like, as soon as he saw, Katara and Aang were in danger, he's as brave as he is, he just jumped right in. Tried to ride that weird camel-y lizard thing. And a bit of comic relief. And I really enjoyed as well when Aang woke up and said to Sokka, like, I think, we need to go back on this and tell them I'm not going to do the whole Avatar state thing. He's like, okay, you're the Avatar, you know what's best. I like that he's not really questioning that decision. Even if earlier he was kind of in favour maybe of just trying to cut some corners. So I like his willingness to kind of go with the flow. A lot of it may have just been, he's like, I'm tired, I want to go back to sleep. So whatever you say goes, fine. But I like that he can still side with Aang. Again, just showing how much things have changed and how far the characters have grown. Because Sokka wasn't Aang's biggest fan in the early episodes of season 1. So I liked everything with that. And just, showing how great that whole unit is, and with Appa and Momo in tow as well. All very well and good. So I liked everything on show with the three of them, and I'm hoping we'll get more like Katara-centric ones and Sokka-centric episodes, I'm sure, as the time goes on. But it makes sense that the premiere would focus mainly on Aang for this season. Sounds really good. I liked everything with that. And then Zuko and Iroh on the run, presented with this offer from Azula, who can do like electricity, lightning-y stuff. Freaking awesome. I hope we get some backstory as to like how she can do all of that. I'm sure we will. I like that she just like takes no shit. She's very, very sneaky. She's a bitch and she knows it, and she owns that. And I quite like that about her. It's cool to see, for better or worse, to see people embrace who they are. She very much seems to be that kind of person. So I enjoyed that, and there's going to be a huge rivalry, I think, with her and Zuko as things go forward, and she's going to try and track them down. I like that season 1 was all about Zuko trying to find someone in Aang, and this season someone's trying to find him, and he's the one who's on the run all the time. I think that's an interesting kind of switch from how things were, and now it's like reborn. I guess they're gonna really try and be different people, probably to blend in, and also because their characters have changed, both Zuko and Iroh, since we first met them, and that's kind of symbolised in them cutting their hair and becoming someone brand new. So I'm looking forward to seeing where those two are going to go. I'm like that they're sticking together, and even before Iroh, he could smell the bullshit right away. I love that about him, and when he was fighting off all those guys. Such a badass, love it. And Zuko kind of lashing out at him earlier on in the episode as well, saying, oh, you're just a lazy old man, because he just didn't want to accept that deep down. I think he knew that all of this was too good to be true. He knows his father and his sister too well to know that, it wasn't a trick. But he's so desperate to believe that he'd want to be wanted by his family again, that he's going to lash out, because that's kind of, I think that's how he copes with it. And he's very impulsive, he's very angry about things, he's prone to lashing out. We saw that when him and Azula were fighting as well. He kept swiping at her, and she was just like dodging it and being like, okay, no. She knows that he just gets so angry and so caught up in it, and that's kind of his downfall. When he's like methodical and careful and considered, like when he was the Blue Spirit, the Blue Spirit, that's when he's been his best that we've seen in the show. When he's not even needed to use any of his fire powers and anything. That's when he's really kind of shone as a warrior and a fighter and succeeded in what he was doing. So maybe that's going to be a lesson that he learns. Maybe that's who this new version of Zuko can be, with the ponytail gone. F in the chat for those ponytails. So yeah, I'm excited to see where the journey with those two is going to go. Is it going to be more so about they need to just be on the run now, and it's not going to be I need to find the Avatar? Maybe this whole experience with Azula trying to trick them and everything, he's like, even if I did get Aang at this point, we're considered traitors, and if I did bring him the Avatar, I don't think he'd forgive me. Maybe it's going to be that kind of realisation. He's like, I might as well just give up on that whole quest and just try and survive and, be a fugitive. Which could bring the gang all together, maybe. That would be fun, because again, they're still linking Aang and Zuko together, sometimes just in terms of like their storylines and their history and stuff, and when they share scenes and everything. But in this one, it's kind of like when they were both fighting, they were like editing both their fights together very succinctly, and it was just like they were on the same wavelength, and they have the potential to be on the same wavelength about things, which I really like. So I think, the dynamic between those two and the relationship between those two is very much going to be developed because they are very similar. And I think that could be something that makes them an unstoppable duo, and I really hope that's where they're going with it. Mainly because I think Iroh and Sokka would be like really good friends. I can imagine them being BFFs, you know. That's the duo I really want to see, so hopefully we'll get to that at some point. But yeah, really excited to see where the story's going to go with those two, and Azula hunting them down as well. She's kind of taken like the Zuko position, I guess, for this season as the one trying to hunt someone down. And I'm looking forward to learning a bit more about her because she made a very kind of strong first impression. So yeah, I'm excited, and it's cool that she isn't necessarily going to be like, oh, I'm after the Avatar, you know, I'm going to succeed where my brother failed. Maybe she will get that just to try and rub salt in the wound, but it's a very personal kind of thing, her whole deal at the moment with her brother and her uncle being these like fugitives on the run. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with her as well. But overall, a really, really great first episode for this new season, or new book, if you will. Interesting character setups, some really cool ideas they were playing into this one as well. A bit of lore about this, the Avatar state and everything. We got a lot, and they're so good at getting a lot and throwing it at us in 22 minutes, and it all feels succinct and everything. So yes, it was nice to kind of catch up with the guys, even though it's literally been like 5 days since I watched the end of season 1. It felt longer because it always feels long in between having to record these, because I just want to binge it all, but I must refrain. But yeah, my camera's flashing saying I'm about to run out of battery, so stop bloody talking. So I'm going to do that. Fantastic first episode of the season. Can't wait to see what they're going to do with the rest of it. And yeah, until my next reaction, thanks for watching.